And then another interesting kind of outcome here was like we had a customer that wanted to build some personalized chat services. And I was like, I think that GPT is more personal. Like Claude is more personal, right? They have their memory figured out, long and short term. And to build those systems in, a lot of people don't realize is the work now, right? Like we're scaffolding memory systems like we were talking about earlier. Like what do I need to what do I need to retrieve or not? And so a lot of times when people are like, "Oh, I'm going to build something that knows this person," it's an immediate no-go. Like we just aren't going to have the scale to do that as well as the big players.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how we're filtering, you know what I mean? But we're seeing amazing stuff with just Claude, just Codex, you know?
And it's actually really hard, I found, to recreate, that chat aspect. So I built a thing called Move Smart, because I'm big in like on Substack and like I'm not big, but like I'm active in the community on Substack for like the foreigners abroad and stuff like that. And so I built a platform that helps people move abroad. And so it helps them pick their countries and gives you like a comprehensive analysis of why those countries match you. And it runs a chat. And I found it really, really hard to actually match the chat. The chat is like, I will admit, the chat is super bland, and because if I gave it more character, it would just veer off and start asking questions that I didn't want it to ask because the report and the country match is set on specific answers to questions, and then it would just start wandering off, asking random stuff, and it was more like personable. But like it wouldn't hit the trigger, which is supposed to generate the three country matches, then which generates the report. And I'm like, so I had to really scale it back and make it kind of bland. And then that leads to the question, like, you just mentioned it earlier. I was talking with somebody I met on LinkedIn, and he was building a platform. So we shared platforms to test. So he tested mine, I tested his. And yeah, he brought up that exact question. It's like, what's your differentiating factor now? If you're going to build something, what is it doing that these frontier models just don't already do really well, right? And that gap is like, I think, starting to close. It's just they're starting to be able to do so many different functions and well that like you really have to start like niching down, finding a problem. So like what I would say about like Move Smart is like I'm pretty confident that an LLM, if you just kind of you ran through the same questions, you would get different results, mainly because in my testing of it, I found an inherent bias baked into the LLM model that I then had to break because it was only giving me like the same 6 to 8 countries over and over again because I tested this thing like a bazillion times. And I'm like, why am I getting Portugal every time? You know what I mean? And it turns out that there's a bias in there that I had to then break. And then also the report is I put a lot of effort into like the prompt creation for the report. So I would say that like there is a differentiating factor, but even still, how long does that last? I don't really know. So it's like, there's a lot of what I call like thin wrapper stuff out there, right? It's just like someone's got an idea and it's just like this one function and they throw Claude API on it and that's the output. But it's like, well, I'm not going to pay for that. I can just I already pay for Claude. I'll just ask Claude.
Right. There was a brief time where it was like attractive enough to try out something that somebody was trying, but now knowing what I know, Claude, Codex, Copilot for the occasional, development need, they have won.